So I am Sarah Mare Paul, and I am so excited to be here to chat with you all about thriving during your postpartum time. So tonight I have half an hour to go through my story with you, a little bit of my story, and to talk to you about my first postpartum experience with my 6.5-year-old son and my recent postpartum experience with my almost 3-month-old little baby girl. So I am going to go over that with you. And I am going to share my screen with you. I have a really, brief presentation just to kind of keep me on track. And I would love to know, do you have any children? Do you have any children? Let me know in the comments, and let me know how old your children are. And even if you are not postpartum now, hopefully this will be a resource, or you will learn some little bits of information that you will be able to share with other new moms, and even some ways to treat new mamas when they are postpartum as well. A 1-year-old. Congratulations to you, Jesslyn. That is so exciting. So exciting to be expecting. Well, I'm excited to share with you, just my experience. So let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna get my screen up, and I am going to start sharing a little bit about myself. All right, so here we are. This is me and my daughter Colby, and this is when she was 8 days old, doing our newborn photo shoot at our home. We are still trying to figure everything out in this picture. I was getting finished breastfeeding her, still using a nipple shield to be able to have her latch. And I can't believe how much she has grown since that picture was taken. It's so crazy how fast they grow. So tonight, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you about just a little background information about me, my first birth experience, my second birth experience, what I did differently, and what products and things and people really helped me, were great resources to help me on my journey. So about me, currently I am 38 years old. I have 2 babies. So I have an almost 7-year-old son who was born in October 2015. And then I have an almost 3-month-old baby girl, Colby, who will be 3 months on the 25th of this month. I am a wife, I am a business owner, I'm a homesteader, homeschooler, and I'm a Young Living brand partner, and I have been for the past 5 years. So I'm going to jump right to it, and I am going to let you know all about my experience. There are some things that I'm going to share about, not incredibly in depth, because as you know about birth stories, there's a lot to them. So I'm not going all into my birth story because I really want to focus on postpartum, but there are some things that I plan to share about maybe next month. We'll have to wait to see how it goes when we do our scheduling for next month's calls. But my first postpartum experience. So with my first experience, like I said, this was in 2015, almost 7 years ago. He'll be 7 in October. It feels like a whole lifetime ago. I had an obstetrician who was just a typical, medical doctor and surgeon, who provided my pregnancy care, who provided my postpartum care. And at 41 weeks, even though it wasn't what I wanted, I was induced because they told me that my baby was too big, that my hips were too small, and that they wouldn't they wouldn't let me go past 41 weeks. So I was induced. I had a hospital birth after 26 hours of labor. I had an emergency C-section. I spent 3 nights afterwards in the hospital, and I had just complete, typical, stereotypical, conventional medical care. So I listened to exactly what the doctors told me. I didn't really question any types of schedules. I just went along. I was there kind of like for the ride. I did do research ahead of time, but I hadn't really started my holistic health journey yet, because I didn't start that until after my son was over a year old. And I've shared about his journey many times, but it was basically with his upper respiratory issues that he had, really starting from birth, but not until he had a severe allergic reaction to penicillin did I start our journey into holistic healthcare. And here's what it looked like. So I had an emergency C-section. This is me and my husband doing skin to skin with our baby, Cooper, because what had happened was I requested skin to skin. I knew that I did want that right after my birth, even though I was having a C-section, because I had heard and I knew that that was good for the baby. So they took the baby out of my abdomen. They weighed him. They measured him. They did, the APGAR scoring on him. They did all those different things. And then they brought him over to me. They put him on my chest, and I started to vomit because I had so much medication in me at that time that I was having a really not great reaction to. You can't really see in this photo, but my eyes were completely swelled. They were almost completely swelled shut in the operating room because of the reaction I was having to the medication that I was on. And the great thing was that a nurse that was in the room with us told my husband just to rip open his shirt. So he ripped open his shirt. We were able to put Cooper on him skin to skin, but we weren't able to nurse or to do anything else until we were back in our room. After that experience, which as a first-time mom, a new mom, it was not what I had expected. It was traumatic for me. I was healing. A C-section is it's a huge operation. And despite all of that, I decided that I wanted to have multiple visitors in my hospital room. I decided that, the day that I went home, 3 nights later, that I would have loads of family over to come to see the baby. I didn't have anything set up support wise. I didn't have a meal train. I had no supportive care. I followed the pediatrician's schedule of appointments to a T. And what I found myself in my postpartum period, because I didn't take any time to rest, I just kind of let everyone come over, touch the baby, see the baby, hold the baby, not really care for me at all, or do dishes or help with housework or help with meals or help with anything. And hey, I'm not blaming them. I didn't ask for any help either. I didn't feel comfortable with that for whatever reason, because of where I was at that time in my life. I found myself within that time period and months later suffering with postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. So it was a really difficult time, a time that it took me years to heal from. And I think that a lot of it had to do with a lot of different things. So I'm going to talk about it and do kind of like a compare and contrast for you. So here is my second postpartum experience. So I had planned, my children are spread out. I said that I have an almost 3-month-old and an almost 7-year-old. And that was not by design. I had suffered with some losses, and it also took me a long time to get pregnant with my daughter. I took that time to heal. I took that time to live a holistic lifestyle. I took that time to research and to find out what I could do differently if I were able to have another child. And I had everything lined up to have a home birth. And I had hired a midwife. I had a doula. I did lots and lots of things that I'm going to talk to you about to just kind of get my mind, get my body, get my family on the same page so that we all knew how we wanted this labor to go. So at 41 weeks, I started labor naturally at home. I was in labor for about 36 hours at home. And then things changed and I had to go to the hospital. I chose to go to the hospital after 36 hours. I got to the hospital. I had an epidural. I rested for a little bit. Again, I'm not going to go into depth about my birth story, but after that, I had another emergency C-section. I only spent 2 nights in the hospital this time. And there were a lot of things that were different. And here's where I'm going to start talking about some things that really helped me during this postpartum experience. Because if you're looking at this as an outsider, which you all are to my birthing experiences, I didn't want to have a C-section either time. So either time it was something that I had expected to do completely naturally that ended very differently. But this time, my second postpartum experience, I have found myself feeling so much more at peace with all of it, feeling so much more at peace with the way that my little girl entered the world, with my healing, with the way that I'm feeling now, with the way that I'm interacting with other people, with the way that my mental health is. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So this time around, I have holistic and midwifery care. I did not allow any visitors in my hospital room besides my mom and my sister, because they're 2 of my closest people on this planet. And when I came home from the hospital, I had no visitors at all either. I didn't have visitors until like weeks after, and they were all very scheduled in. And that was all by design. Currently, I'm almost 3 months postpartum, and I'm feeling really good, doing really well for a lot of different reasons. So here are some things that I did differently this time around. And these are things that I can speak from experience. I'm not a medical professional, but these are things that really helped me and may help someone else. So what I did differently was I hired professionals, because when it comes to your medical care, you are hiring these individuals to help to support you. So I hired them and I made sure that they were in alignment with my personal beliefs on pregnancy, on pediatric care, on family care, on mental health, on all of the different things. So I interviewed my people. And I have so many people who come to me and who say, oh yeah, but my doctor says this, or I'm afraid to say this to my doctor because of, I know what they're going to say and I don't want to do that. Or I know how they're going to feel about this, or if I tell them this, they might not let me stay at the practice. And all I can do is urge you, and no matter where you are, even if this isn't talking about pregnancy, this isn't talking about pediatric care, this is talking about your family care, your medical care, is to find professionals, interview your professionals, and find professionals who are in alignment with you. That's going to cut down your stress when you go to these appointments. That's going to make you feel like you have a much wider net when it comes to your support. And I can't tell you, I looked forward to going to my postpartum appointments this time around, because I knew that I would be greeted with love. I knew I would be nurtured. I knew that people would ask how I was doing, not just how my baby was doing. And not that I didn't care about how my baby was doing. Of course I did. But when you take a look at all of the pediatric visits that are lined up for a child, even in the first year of life, there are dozens of visits that you're supposed to take your child to. And there's only 2 times when you have a postpartum visit. And it's literally within the first month of you having your baby. Or for me, it was within the first month, and then 6 weeks after, because I had my C-section. I chose to hire multiple support professionals during my pregnancy and to go to them postpartum. So I did chiropractic care during my pregnancy and directly postpartum. I had a midwife, I had a doula. I chose to have my doula come actually the night that we came home from the hospital, because I knew that I would have trouble mobility wise and setting things up. And we were leaving the hospital pretty late in the evening. So I asked her to come and to spend the night, the first night that we got home from the hospital. And that was one of the best decisions that I could have made. I went to see a pelvic floor therapist before I gave birth. And then I also am going to see her postpartum. Even though I didn't have a vaginal delivery, it's still a world of difference to have a pelvic floor therapist, because they also help with diastasis, or the separation of your abdominal muscles. They can help with you just get back into connection with your breathing, which is something that is very difficult when you are a new mom and you are going all the time, or when you are a mom who has been a mom for a long time, right? How often are we forgetting to breathe? Pelvic floor therapy has been incredible. I know our therapist even offers yoga as well, which is really just amazing to reconnect with your breath. It can help with things like constipation. It can help with incontinence. It can help with so many different things, no matter where you are as a woman, or even she helps men as well. So I can't speak highly enough about pelvic floor therapy. I feel like people never talk about that. I went to see an acupuncturist who really helped specifically if you've had a C-section at any point in time in your life. They can help with healing your scar, or if you have a scar from a different surgery on your body that you have some sensitivity with. They're fantastic to help with that. A therapist, because I believe that it is wonderful to have a therapist and to talk about anything that's coming up emotionally. A cleaner, someone to come to help me to clean my home. I have someone to help with laundry and dishes, like immediately postpartum, because I knew these are the things that with my anxiety, seeing my house be completely in disarray, trying to feed this new baby, trying to care for my son, that I was going to need support. So I had these things set up ahead of time. What I also did was I created a gentle cesarean plan this time around. This is something that I didn't even know existed. Do me a favor, and in the comments, have you ever heard of this? Let me know. Have you heard of a gentle cesarean plan? I didn't know that this existed, but I did research on this while I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was so thankful that I was able to have a doula who encouraged me before I went to the hospital. Literally, I was in my bathtub laboring with that 36-hour time frame, who said, hey, if you're going there, do you want to do this? And in my head, I was thinking, you know what? Yes, I'm going to put this stuff into writing. I know that there are other things, other options that I have, with having a C-section, where it does not have to look or feel like it did the first time. And that was incredible. I'm going to go more into depth a little bit later with that, because I only have 10 minutes left. I may actually do my next call on that, because I think that it is something that is not talked about, and you do have options when it comes to that. And that is one of the things that helped me to, I believe, to feel as good as I do about the way that my birth went. I also asked for specific ways for people to help me. And this goes for anyone. I recommend that you do these things, that you don't expect people to read your mind. Because I do this to my husband. I do that to my husband a lot. I actually do. I'm going to admit that. He just left the room, but I do. I look and I'm just really I could really use some water. This is what I'm saying in my head. And I'm just why isn't he getting me water? Why isn't he getting me a snack? Or why isn't he doing these things? And it's oh, Sarah, because you never asked, right? Like you never said that. You're just expecting him to telepathically read your mind and get you the things. And when you're postpartum, you're a little emotional. So yeah, right? Like you can't do that. You have to be very explicit with people. So beforehand, I had a talk with my mom and I said, Mom, listen, I don't need you to be here to hold the baby. Like, I want to hold my baby. I want to be with my baby. I want to feed my baby. I want to sleep with, nap with my baby. I want to be with my baby. But I could really use help with dishes, with cooking, with care for my son. I went to my cousin. I said, hey, could you set up a meal train for me? Because I know that I need to be nourished and I don't want to be eating fast food all the time. She was so happy to do that. I had other friends who came over just to take care of my chickens, just to water my garden. And because people were asking how they could help. So if I gave them a specific job, they felt more purposeful, they felt more helpful. And I felt great knowing that these things were getting taken care of. And explicit needs to my husband. Hey, when you see that my water is empty, if I'm nursing, could you please just fill it up for me? Can you ask me if I need a snack? Can you make sure that I'm resting enough? Things like that. And just being really explicit with my needs. Taking time to shower each day and get dressed. Very important as a new mom. I had my stepmom, she reminded me of that. Make sure that you're showering, make sure that you're just putting normal people clothing on. Making time to talk with other moms, other new moms, other moms who have been through this walk of life. It helps you to feel more normal. And what I did, and actually I'm grateful for my C-section because of this, I rested for 40 days, about 42 days, and still starting back with my routine. And I was able to do that at home. It's not like I still didn't do things here at home, but I didn't drive. I didn't go out into public to really sensory filled areas. I really took that time to heal. And that's from a book called The First 40 Days, which I'm going to share the resource at the end with you. Products that help to support me. So right away, I had all these people recommending a Haka breast pump, which was incredible to help if you're breastfeeding in the very beginning. And hydration is so important. So coconut water has been one of my best friends. Something called Blackthorn tonic. You can check with your medical provider, but my doctor recommended this, and this helped me so much to feel whole and to start my healing journey emotionally and with my body and the trauma that I went through. It comes in a little tincture. It tastes really great. And you can also get like massage lotions and things like that have blackthorn in them. But that has been an incredible tonic for me to use. And I noticed a difference when I stopped using it. Reusable soothing nipple pads. I also use these silver nipple pads, which I didn't know existed until my girlfriend, she bought them for me. And I was so thankful because they worked incredibly well. I have a link for those at the end too. I kept a Lazy Susan. I still have it by my bedside, so I can just kind of twist it around to get all my supplements that I need at night, to get my oils that I need at night, to get baby things that I need at night. And it's all just right there. And having changing and baby stations in different rooms, that has been incredible for me too. Different products, YL wise, that have really helped me were Clariderm. I got that to use while I was pregnant to help with my perennial massage, to try to get ready, prepare my body for labor. And for me, I've actually been using Clariderm all on my C-section scar, and it has felt incredible. Like, it's so healing for your skin. It has been phenomenal for my incision area, for my scar, and to start that healing process. I couldn't believe how much I was in love with the Young Living lip scrub because when you're nursing, when you're postpartum, you're dehydrated. I remember taking my first shower at home, having that in there, not planning to use it, but being like, oh, I'm going to put this on. And how much skin was just like sloughing off my lips because of just, you know, everything that I had been through. So the Young Living Lip Scrub, amazing. Just our lavender lotion has been incredible. I keep that by my bedside. I put that on my hands because I'm washing my hands so much with all the diaper changes. I get dry. It's been wonderful to use before bedtime. I use gentle baby oil on myself. I've used that and in the diffuser since like day one that Colby was born, and she absolutely loves it. It helps to relax her. In addition, with lavender oil, I use those more for just like on my wrists, on even on Colby's feet. And we really love this most for relaxation oils, Gentle Baby and lavender. I use Endoflex myself. I use it right here on my neck, and that is great to put hormones back into balance. I had a dear friend of mine when I was having a hard time postpartum, because trust me, like the past 3 months have not been all like, yay, everything is just wonderful. It's been kind of like this, you know, if and today was one of those whoop days too, because my beautiful baby just didn't want to nap at all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to talk to people about postpartum tonight? And no, she's not napping and I don't know what to do. And then I'm like, hold on, I gotta like hydrate a little bit. I'm going to use my oils. I had one of my girlfriends talk to me the one day and she's like, are you using your oils? And I'm like, oh my gosh, started using Endoflex. I felt so much better energy wise. I've used the Bloom skin products throughout my whole pregnancy and postpartum because they're like the skin brightening line. And when you get pregnant, weird things happen to your skin. I had some melasma, so this has helped to even out my skin tone too. Super B is amazing. I love that. That's good for anyone energy wise, but especially great postpartum. The Inner Beauty collagen has been wonderful. I've been using that for 18 days, almost 21. And I've noticed a huge difference in just like the brightness of my skin. I have had people be like, wow, your skin looks so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. Cause I am not wearing makeup really still, because I am still postpartum and doing all the things, taking care of everyone and showering, but I'm not doing makeup. I'm just not. Super C, which is wonderful just to kind of keep your immune system up. The Ningxia Red, I drink it all day, every day. It's been fantastic for me. I keep our protein powder and our Ningxia greens on hand in case I need like a really quick meal, or I realize that I'm extremely hungry from nursing and I love mixing the two of them together for a smoothie with a frozen banana and milk. It tastes so delicious. Lavender lip balm, the Life 9 probiotic before bed. I keep that in my Lazy Susans that I remember to kind of just keep putting nourishment into my body. The Vitality drops in water, because then I'm getting some electrolytes as well, and the Seedlings baby products. So these are like all the things that have helped me this time around. And if I would have a list as to what I used initially during my first pregnancy, it would be like not much at all, because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't thinking that if I don't take care of me, I'm not going to be able to take care of baby. I'm not going to be able to take care of the rest of my family. So resources, the first 40 days book was phenomenal for me. I recommend gifting this to any mama to be. It really talks about just how to nourish yourself when you're having a new baby and how to ask other people to nourish you. This is the link. I don't have any affiliate links, but this Silverette link is amazing. Those are the silver nipple pads that I used in the very beginning, and they worked wonders to help to heal dry, cracked nipples. There's the Hoffa link for the breast pump. This is some information here about the gentle cesarean. And I'm going to email this to all of you guys too, so you'll have all the links and everything too. My doula, she was on here. I'm not sure if she's still on here, but she was fantastic. Trina Martin of Your Beautiful Adventure. She is just like, I can't even speak highly enough about her. Like I said, she has been so loving to my family, to me, to my husband, to my baby, to my son. And she does postpartum things, and she helped me with lactation consulting too. So it was just like incredible. My midwife, there's some information from her about her as well. And I always get questions about who my family doctor is. So this is my family doctor's website. They're located in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. If you're local, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me, or you can just message me if you have my information there too. So I'm only 1 minute past, and if you know me, that is like pretty phenomenal. So thank you so much for coming on and listening to my story. And I'm just kind of going back through. I'm going to share more about the gentle cesarean, and maybe I can have Trina, because she said that she would love to be a part of that conversation too. So maybe we could pair up and do that together. I'll message you to see if we could do that. So please reach out if you have any questions. I will have the recording up and in the event for you as well. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am going to go hydrate, probably have some ice cream, and lay down for a little while until my daughter wakes up to nurse again. So I hope that all of you have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care.